Hey everyone, it's Jesse from Soul Pre, and today I want to talk about the meeting of two important disciplines to me, running and meditation. Is running meditation? At a young age, I developed a love for running. Playing on community teams with soccer, I loved playing midfield so I could run up and down the field with the ball more than anybody else. It wasn't until high school that I really got into running as a sport with cross country and track and started to go on longer runs, 3 miles, 5 miles, 8 miles. It was in these runs that I started to discover something deeper, being a body in motion and losing your mind to the motion, the rhythmic thumping of your legs over and over and over through time. This kind of rhythmic thumping that I describe when I run, some people actually describe as spiritual, and I can totally understand that. Now, it didn't happen every single time I ran, but the times that it did made a more significant impact on me than even getting that runner's high as a new runner in races. Over time, I've kind of likened the experience to meditation, or really mindfulness meditation in particular. They seem to have a lot in common. Concentrating on the present moment, not letting thoughts that arise in your mind overcome what you're doing, letting them pass by, and then really becoming your breath, becoming the motion, and letting those thoughts subside into oblivion. The best runners often describe their best performances as existing in this Zen-like state. And sometimes in sports we refer to it as being in the flow or in the zone. So this kind of made me wonder, what does running actually have to do with meditation? Is there any link? And I think we first have to ask, what is mindfulness meditation? When I search for that on Google and I look to advice from more experienced practitioners, often I come up with the simplest definition of being fully present in the moment now. I know I'm not always present when I run. There are thoughts that wander in. What am I going to have for lunch? What am I doing today? How's that work project going? I need to do this. I have this errand to run. There are lots of thoughts that invade my mind when I'm running instead of being able to always reach that Zen-like state. There are those times when my concentration really dials in. I find it's most often when I'm pushing my body a little bit more. Maybe I want to go a little bit harder on a long run, or I'm doing speed work on the track. It's when I have to be fully present in my pace, in my breathing, how the legs feel, and navigating what I'm doing, that it allows my mind to kind of dissolve away and become closer to pure motion. All of these things are actually somewhat similar to what I experience on occasion when I do a morning meditation to start the day. This reminds me of a Buddhist lecture I once heard where novice monks in a monastery were asked to rake the grounds, chop vegetables, and do a lot of menial tasks around the monastery. And our cynical minds, the minds of the novice, might ask, when am I actually going to get to work? When am I actually going to get to the meditation? The moral of the story, or the lesson learned from this particular lecture, was that all of these things in and of themselves are meditation. When you're fully present in the moment, chopping vegetables, having a meal, raking the lawn, it's that ability to bring your mind to the present and allow outside thoughts to fall away that you are in fact meditating. So too, I think running falls into this category, and we can say that running is some form of meditation. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe. I love to talk about the mind, and I'll have more for you in the future. I'll see you next time.